Have you ever stopped to think about how fast money itself is changing? I mean, especially now with everything going digital. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something that feels like a really foundational shift, particularly for, the banks and financial institutions we all rely on. We're talking about Fiserv. They're a huge name in financial tech, and they're making this significant leap into digital assets with a new stablecoin. It's called FIUSD. So our mission today is pretty clear. We want to unpack what FIUSD actually is, why this move by Fiserv matters so much, especially for financial institutions, and what it tells us about where payments and finance are heading.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? The whole financial landscape feels like it's moving at, warp speed. So seeing a big established player like Fiserv make such a decisive move, not just testing the waters, but really diving in, It's more than just news. It feels like a major signal about where the whole system could be going. It hints at pretty fundamental changes in how value moves around.
Okay, so let's get into the core of it then. Fiserv announced this plan, right? A new digital asset platform. And the centerpiece is this FIUSD stablecoin. They're planning to weave it right into their existing banking and payments infrastructure, and they're saying by the end of this year.
Yeah, it sounds less like some side experiment and more like, a core part of their strategy going forward.
Exactly.
And the scale Fiserv operates at, that's really what makes this so potentially transformative.
Yeah.
You have to understand the sheer size. We're talking about a global network that connects something like 10,000 financial institutions.
10,000?
Yeah,
Wow.
and 6 million merchant locations.
Right.
And the volume. Think about this. They process around 90 billion transactions a year.
90 billion, okay.
So imagine plugging a new stablecoin directly into that existing plumbing. Fiserv's calling it instant scale. And that's pretty accurate, right? They're essentially creating a huge, ready-made digital asset network where their clients can start building new things almost immediately.
Right? New products, new services, all leveraging this FIUSD. And here's maybe the kicker for those clients. Fiserv is saying they'll enable FIUSD through the tech the clients already use, and apparently at no extra cost.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong incentive. It definitely lowers the barrier for their massive network to actually start using it.
So beyond just the massive reach Fiserv has, the next big question is always the tech, right? What's under the hood and who's involved in building it? And Fiserv's partner choices here are quite revealing. They're expecting to use stablecoin infrastructure from two pretty well-known players, Paxos and Circle Internet Group.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting, especially thinking about interoperability. FIUSD is meant to work smoothly with, and I quote, several leading stablecoins. That's key.
So not just its own little walled garden.
Exactly. They're not building a silo. They're connecting their huge network into the wider digital economy. And a big piece of that puzzle is their choice to make it available via Solana.
Solana, right. Why Solana?
Well, Fiserv highlights it as one of the most trusted and used blockchains for stablecoins. But practically speaking, Solana is known for being fast and having much lower transaction fees compared to some other big blockchains.
Ah, okay. So for a payment network processing Fiserv's kind of volume, that speed and cost efficiency must be absolutely crucial.
Paramount, yeah. And they're not stopping there. They're also looking seriously into deposit tokens.
Deposit tokens, what are those exactly?
Think of them like digital twins of actual bank deposits, but living on a blockchain. So you get similar benefits to stable coins like that instant 247 settlement, but it's all happening within a regulated bank's own balance sheet.
Ah, I see. So that might feel a lot safer, maybe more capital friendly, as they put it, for traditional banks. Fits better with how they already operate.
Precisely. It aligns more closely with existing regulations and bank structures. And they're already talking to other potential partners too, looking to expand how stable coins and these tokenized deposits can be used both here in the U.S. and internationally.
Okay, so with all that context, the scale, the partners, the tech choices like Solana, the deposit tokens, it really starts to paint a picture of why Fiserv keeps calling FIUSD a bank-friendly coin. It's not just the underlying technology, is it? It seems just as much about how banks interact with it.
Absolutely. It's about letting the financial institution stay in control of their customer experience. Fiserv is delivering it through an SDK, a software development kit, which sounds techy, but basically means it should be easy to plug into the systems banks already use, things like their Experience Digital or Commercial Center platforms.
Makes sense. Easier integration means faster adoption.
And that bank-friendly design also goes straight to compliance. That's huge for banks. FIUSD is built to work with their existing compliance tools. Things like fraud monitoring, risk management, settlement controls are baked in.
So it reduces the heavy lifting for the banks on the compliance side.
Right. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, stablecoins and tokenized deposits like FIUSD, they have this potential because they mix the programmability, the efficiency of blockchain with the stability and trust people have in regular money, fiat currency.
Okay, programmability and stability. What does that unlock?
It means things can settle instantly, 24/7. No more waiting for banking hours or batch processes. It can streamline a lot of the back office stuff, make operations way more efficient. And it can power totally new use cases where the old payment rails are just too slow or too expensive or maybe just don't work at all.
So, okay, let's bring it down to earth. Practically speaking, what does all this mean for the banks and maybe more importantly for their customers, for you listening? It sounds great for the banks, but are there downsides? Are there, complexities that might make traditional FIs a bit hesitant? And what about regulation? That's always the elephant in the room with stablecoins, right? Especially if they're thinking internationally.
Those are definitely the right questions to ask.
Mm-hmm.
The benefits, like efficiency and speed, are pretty clear.
Mm.
But integrating this, it's not just flipping a switch. Banks are, by nature, cautious institutions. They'll need to figure out new operational flows, how to support customers using these digital assets, and crucially, how it all fits within their risk management frameworks. And regulation, it's constantly shifting, especially globally. Fiserv is smart to partner with regulated players like Paxos and Circle, but you still have this patchwork of rules in different countries.
Right.
So banks using FIUSD across borders will face ongoing compliance hurdles. It's definitely not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's a journey into pretty new territory for many of them.
Okay, let's hear from some of the leaders involved. Takis Georgakopoulos, he's the COO at Fiserv. He talks about Fiserv being in a privileged position as a trusted infrastructure provider and says their scale, reach, and technology leadership will help democratize access to blockchain financial services.
Yeah.
Democratize access. What does that really mean in practice for, say, a smaller local bank or a credit union? Is it just about easier tech or something more?
That's a really good point, because democratization here isn't just, you can use the tech now. It suggests it could level the playing field a bit. Think about it. Without something like this from a trusted provider like Fiserv, a smaller institution might find it incredibly expensive or just too complex to build their own digital asset capabilities from scratch.
Right, they just wouldn't have the resources.
Exactly. But by embedding FIUSD into the systems they already use, Fiserv is effectively giving them a way to participate in this emerging digital asset economy. They could potentially offer things like instant payments, maybe tokenized collateral, even on-chain microlending.
Yeah.
Stuff that might have seemed out of reach before.
Interesting. So it could actually change the competitive dynamics a bit.
Potentially, yeah. Empowering a broader range of institutions. And the partnership angle is also really key here. Walter Hessert from Paxos, he emphasizes Paxos being the most regulated stablecoin provider.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees their platform combined with Fiserv's huge network enabling instant, borderless, and compliant payment solutions. That's the goal.
Instant, borderless, compliant. Sounds like the trifecta.
It is. And then you have Heath Tarbert from Circle adding another layer. He calls Fiserv a global powerhouse in commerce and Circle a global fintech firm and stablecoin market leader, real high. And he believes together they'll unlock the next frontier of money movement. His phrase is quite evocative. Embedding stablecoins into everyday commerce and making money move as easily, reliably, and instantly as sending an email.
Money moving like email. That's a powerful image. But let's break that down again. For the average person listening, what does embedding stablecoins into everyday commerce actually look like? When I'm buying groceries or sending money to family abroad?
Yeah, for you, the listener, it could mean a few things that might feel subtle at first, but are actually quite transformative. Imagine paying for something and the settlement is instant. Doesn't matter which bank you use or where the merchant banks. No more waiting days for funds to actually clear.
Okay, that sounds good.
Or think about sending money internationally. Instead of taking days and costing who knows what in fees, it could happen in seconds. With clear, probably minimal fees sent directly from your regular bank account, just using this stablecoin infrastructure kind of humming away in the background.
So it's about making the benefits of digital assets almost invisible, just making things work better, faster, cheaper.
Exactly. It becomes the underlying rail for more efficient, immediate transactions that you just, expect to work seamlessly.
And just to circle back to the banks, so Neil Sachdev, who heads up embedded finance at Fiserv, he really hammers this home. He says FIUSD is designed with our clients in mind, a financial institution-friendly coin that simplifies stablecoin access through a secure and scalable ecosystem.
Secure, scalable, simple access. That seems to be the core message for their institutional clients, making it easy and safe for them to get involved.
All right, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive. The big takeaway seems to be Fiserv making a very strategic, very large-scale move into digital assets with FIUS. They're leveraging their massive existing network. They've got these powerful partners like Paxos and Circle, and it really looks poised to reshape how banks and other institutions deal with digital currencies and payments.
Yeah, and zooming out a bit, this move by Fiserv, it feels like more than just another company launching a stablecoin. It's potentially a major inflection point.
Yeah.
Because of that existing infrastructure, they're not just adding a product. They could be laying down the tracks for a huge network effect for digital assets, something maybe far bigger than what crypto-native firms could achieve alone.
A network effect driven by a traditional finance giant.
Exactly. Now, the how involves navigating all that tricky global regulation, getting institutions to actually change their behavior, educating customers. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. But Fiserv seems to have just shown up to the race with some very serious running shoes.
So a final thought for you to consider as we wrap up. How might this fundamental shift in the payment rails, the actual plumbing of how money moves, how might that change your own experiences with finance, with digital payments in the years ahead? And keep in mind, Fiserv has indicated this is just the first of several announcements about their new digital asset platform. So definitely stay tuned.